One of the biggest struggles that so many of us have is maintaining a consistent home routine. We might spend every weekend cleaning and catching up on laundry so that we can start the week with a clean home. That sounds pretty good, right? But what we do is we spend that whole weekend doing all of those tasks, and then our week begins. And while our home might be clean, we are completely exhausted because we never had the time to fully reset and have some fun over the weekend. So we move into our week with our clean home, but we continue with the busyness of life, just trying to keep up with everything that continues happening throughout the week. And then our home care duties start getting pushed off because we're tired, we don't have time, we're busy with other things. And then all of a sudden, we start thinking, we'll just get to that this weekend. And then you get into the weekend and you have to completely reset and spend your entire weekend cleaning and catching up on laundry again. And the whole cycle starts over. So, how can we actually build a home routine that not only works, but it also lasts long term and gives us time back in our weekends? That is what we're going to talk about today. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. So, we need to know how to build lasting momentum with our home routine because that is going to be the complete game changer to be able to give us time back in our weekends and even throughout our week. When we can have a really solid home routine, that is going to flow into other areas of our life, and you're going to wonder how it took so long to get a home routine figured out. And also, you're never going to want to be without a really solid home routine. But I want you to really think about what your current habits are and whether it is the lack of motivation or just the lack of structure. Because sometimes we might really want to get our houses clean, keep up on tasks, and get some things done, but we feel so overwhelmed because there's just so much to do. And on the flip side, we might feel like we're constantly doing something, but we just cannot keep up with it. So whether you are overwhelmed, basically freeze and maybe just zone out on the couch and start scrolling on your phone because it's just too much to deal with, or if you are just constantly go, 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 trying to keep up and it just never seems to get done, or you never seem to be able to make progress no matter how much you keep doing. Neither one of those feels good. But when we can really dissect what we're actually doing day to day, you might be able to see what changes you could make that could give you a little bit more of that structure. And when you have that structure, you don't have to worry about all the other things that need to be done. All you have to do is focus on what is here and now. And that starts to give you some freedom in the rest of your time and how it's spent. So that has been huge for me. So I would like you to really think about what type of routine or system you have right now in taking care of your home, because when we can focus not so much on the motivation, but we focus on the intentional habits and routines that we build, we can put these habits and routines together, and that creates the system that we need to maintain consistency. And when we have those habits and routines, they're simple, they give us the structure and the framework, and they all flow together to build a seamless system that helps keep us on track while also feeling like we have more freedom in our time and we can enjoy those weekends more. So, we're going to go through, I think I have five written down here that I want to just run through and cover a little bit. And these are all going to focus on working together to build that lasting momentum with your home routine. So, number one, you need to have a daily plan. So, this is creating your daily 7 home routine. If you are new here, you are going to love this routine because it is super simple and it's not about zone cleaning. There are a lot of people out there that talk about zone cleaning where you focus either 1 week on a specific area of your home or you focus 1 day on a specific area of your home, where it's like, okay, maybe Monday you focus on cleaning the kitchen, Tuesday you focus on cleaning the living room, Wednesday you do the bathrooms and so on and so forth. But what happens with me, the way my brain works, that does not work. And if you're in that boat as well, where it's like, I can't just clean one room because by the time I go to the next room the next day, the other room feels like it is, like torn apart or it's just not as clean and nothing like your whole home doesn't feel reset at any given point because you're only focused on one space. It just doesn't feel right to me. So when I started really looking at what I was doing, I was creating a daily 7 home routine. And you can go back to previous episodes. Episode 5 will explain what the daily 7 home routine is, how to build one yourself. And then episode 23 actually gives you a chance. I walk you through my own daily 7 home routine because they're all customized individually, but I'll walk you through mine in case you want to start there and completely copy mine as a starting point, and then you can just tweak it as you need to. But really, what you're doing with a daily 7 home routine is you are choosing 7 of your top priority tasks throughout your home and putting them in a simple, specific order that makes it really efficient. And you can have a little trigger task that gets you launched into your routine and you're done very quickly. There's no distractions, there's no, branching off and doing other things at the same time. You hone in on this routine and you complete it as quickly as you can and get these seven tasks done so that you can feel like your home is very quickly reset. And these tasks can be anything. They can be from resetting, the dishwasher to cleaning up the living room to wiping down the bathrooms to doing a load of laundry, like whatever works for you to help you to feel like you can reset your home. Those are the top tasks that really bother you. Like if you think that having your sliding glass doors in your dining room clean and those windows when they're smudged and dirty from little kids' hands or dog noses or whatever it is, when those are dirty, if it feels like your whole house just feels gross when that window is smudged and dirty, then that's probably going to be something that you could add to your task list to reset every day, where you have cleaners really close by that are going to help you quickly wash that window. And that's going to make your home feel cleaner because you have a sparkling clean window and that's part of your reset. So it's completely customized to what feels really good to you, but you can go back to those episodes if you need kind of an example and some a framework of how to actually build your own. But that is going to be key in being able to keep your home tidy throughout the week because you don't need to push all of these tasks to the weekend when you have a quick reset routine that you can do daily that just helps maintain a tidy home. You're not going to feel like you have this big, huge list of things to do when you get to the weekend because you've been easily keeping up on it throughout the week. So, number 2 is to give yourself reset times throughout the day. And what I mean by reset times is you have your daily 7 home routine where you go through and you reset your house for those 7 tasks. But there's also things that you do throughout the day that you can use to help maintain the tidiness without it getting overwhelming or even feeling like a chore at all. So, when you are in the kitchen and you are doing a meal or you're having a snack, before you leave the kitchen, reset the kitchen. So, that might mean making sure all the dishes are done, wiping down the counters, putting any food away, doing a quick, spot sweep if you had dropped some things on the floor, just very, very quickly reset the kitchen so that next time you walk into the kitchen, you're not coming into your previous mess to clean up before you get started on something else. That's the worst is having to clean up an old mess before you make a new mess. So you really want to just reset that space before you leave it. And then when you come back to it, it's not going to feel overwhelming and things won't build up over each other. The other idea for this reset time is like the living room. If you are using the living room, your kids are playing with toys, you're watching a movie, any time you're using this space, maybe you're playing a game, anytime you use that space, before you leave, like the final leaving time, not just if you're stepping out for a little bit, but when you are done with that space, make sure you reset the space so that once again, you don't have to come back to a mess later. Another simple reset time is when you are drying your hands on the towels in the bathroom. Instead of drying your hands and making that towel all messy and maybe it even fell to the floor when you were drying your hands or the rugs got scattered, just reset the rugs, put them where they need to be, fold the towel and hang it over the rack. Things like that are literally just 1 to 2 seconds that it can take to just reset that space and then walk out of the bathroom. So again, you're walking into a tidier looking bathroom rather than a bathroom that looks like the rugs are all scattered, the towels on the floor, and it's just kind of a mess. And another spot is the dishwasher. If you have a tendency to run the dishwasher in the evening after dinner, and then it needs to be put away, you could either do that before you go to bed and have an empty dishwasher to wake up to, or maybe you run it overnight. And then part of your routine in the morning is to quickly reset the dishwasher so that it's ready to go for the day. So when you get up in the morning, when your coffee's brewing, or when you're putting lunches together, or you're making breakfast, or doing something like that, you very quickly put the dishes away and then that is reset so that when you eat breakfast or you have that coffee, instead of putting those dishes into the sink and piled up on the counter, they can go directly into the dishwasher. So those are the types of things that you're looking at is what can you very quickly get in the habit of resetting without it feeling like a task or a chore that needs to be done later. You can just do it now and get in the habit of doing that. And that's something that your whole family can work on. If you are living with others in your home, everybody can look at these things and start to train their minds to actually do this. And once you take note of it and you do it intentionally, it does start to become a habit that you no longer think about. It's just automatic that when you get up off the couch, you fold the blanket and you fluff the pillows and you walk away. Or if you are in the bathroom and you're straightening the towel and you just kind of rearrange the rugs to make sure that they're laid out nicely and they're not folded up on each other or they're not scattered across the other side of the bathroom, things like that, you're going to do it without even thinking about it. And it no longer feels like a hassle. So those are really important times to reset things and be intentional about doing it first. And then once you do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, then at that point, you're no longer going to have to think about it. But it does take some intentionality in the beginning. Number three is to not overbook yourself with tasks. This is really important to create your to do list if you need to. I love using something I call an annual task list. And I do have episodes. You can go back and search for the annual task list episode. I think I have several of them where I'm talking about the annual task list. And what you're doing is we have a tendency to make a to-do list and we've got a list of 30 things to do on our list and we are constantly trying to cycle through them, but it's so overwhelming to look at a list of 30 things and be able to actually tackle it and be productive. So I want you to look at building these habits and routines and resetting your spaces with the habits and routines so that those things no longer have to be on your to-do list. You shouldn't have to put your on your to-do list to clean the kitchen or to clean the bathroom or to do laundry or any of those things because they're built into your daily routines and you have that system ready to go. So the things on your to-do list should be all of the things out of the ordinary or things that aren't done on a more like daily or weekly consistent basis. The things that need to be done in bigger gaps of time. So it might be like an oil change, or maybe it's washing all the windows, or it's shampooing the rug, or shampooing the upholstery on the dining room chairs, or washing the drapes or the curtains. Things like that that need to be done it's more at like months' time. Like, it doesn't need to be done weekly, but you can go a few months without doing some of those things. Those are gonna be the things that should be on your to-do list, not the things that we should be doing on a daily basis. We should have a structure already built into our routines to be able to take care of those things, so they don't have to be overloading our brains because we have enough to worry about. We don't need to be adding to all of the tasks that we need to be doing. So when you create your list of all of these things to do, I would encourage you to just plan out your week. And when you're looking at your week and you're plugging in times of things to do, times where you can do things, only choose 2 to 3 tasks that are your highest priority that week. And then focus on those because you're going to feel like you have the ability to complete those more than if you were looking at a task of 20 things and starting to feel overwhelmed and exhausted. So focus on just 2 to 3. If you get them done early in the week, then go ahead and add more. But focus on those 2 to 3 first because you're going to be more likely to get those done than if you had 20 things. So even 2 to 3, a lot of times you're going to end up doing those 2 to 3 things and getting them done and having that progress made than if you'd have a list of 20 things and then you're so overwhelmed that you get halfway through the first thing and you can't do anymore because you're just too frazzled. So you're actually going to probably make more progress by focusing on less at a time. And then we're going to do number 4, which is to keep a donation box at all times and schedule the drop offs. So, when you have a donation box in your home, you are basically having a place where when you come across things in your home, when you're cleaning or when you're tidying, or when you're doing those 10-minute declutter hunts where you set the timer for 10 minutes and you go to town to try and find as much as you can that you no longer need, or you set 10 minutes to clear a specific space however you want to do it. Maybe you're cleaning out your closet, you're getting dressed for the day, and you're like, I never wear this anymore. And I don't know why it's even in my closet anymore. Instead of putting it back in your closet to deal with later, take it off the hanger and go bring it down to your donation box. Because then when you have that donation box and you plug in a time on your calendar, maybe it's every month, maybe it's every quarter, maybe it's even just like spring and fall that you drop off your donations, depending on how quickly this box fills. You schedule it on your calendar that is the drop off. So then when the time comes, you just grab your box and you go and drop it off. But what you're looking at doing is having a specific space that is designated to get rid of things. This can be something that you tell anybody else that's in your household as well. We started a donation box, and I thought at first that I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the only one that uses this. My husband's not gonna use it. Like, this is gonna be kind of like one of my things that I maybe will forget about later." But it was really cool because I set up a box and we put it in our basement. And there's like a kind of a spot where we can keep this. And I talked to my husband about it and I told him, we have this box down there. This is for donations. If you see anything you want to get rid of, if you're going through your closet, if you come across anything in your office that you just don't need or want anymore, put it in the donation box and I'll drop it off at Goodwill. And he does this pretty regularly. He'll go through his closet and he just gets rid of a stack of clothes and he brings them. Usually he sets them on the bed in my office because I'm usually going through things at the same time. And so I will put them in the box, but he will also grab things and put them in the donation box as well. So it's a system that works really well. And then it's not pushing off those tasks of dealing with it later. It's like if you come across something that you know you don't need anymore, maybe it's a book, maybe it's clothes, maybe it's decor, maybe it is some, supplies like craft supplies or school supplies that you know that they are perfectly fine and somebody else could use these things, but you don't need them in your home anymore. Get rid of them. Put them in the box. You have a spot to put them, get them out of your home, get them get that clutter out of the living spaces that you have, get it into the donation box, and then go drop it off when it's time. And you're going to feel so much better. And then the last thing I have is number 5 is to check in with yourself often to see how things are going. I think so many of us don't do this often enough. If something we put into place isn't working quite right, we just think that it's not working and we need to give up on it. But that's so often not the case. When we put something into place, like a home routine or like our donation box and our declutter hunts, things like that, if we put those into place and they don't seem to be working perfectly, before you completely get rid of that process or that routine, ask yourself if there is something specific that's holding you back or something that could be tweaked a little bit to make it simpler or easier or to work better for your family, and tweak it, because we're constantly going to need to test and tweak things to make sure they are working for our lives. If you put a routine into place that's more stressful and more of a hassle than not having that routine into place, then it's not a good routine for you. It might work great for somebody else, but if it's not working for you, then ask yourself why. Is it some habits or mindset shifts that need to change? Does it need to be done at a different time of day? Does it need to be shorter? Does it need to focus on one specific area instead of three specific areas? Like, what can you do to make that habit or routine easier and more likely to be able to maintain long term? So, when we can look at this from more of a curiosity aspect, then we no longer have to just give up and keep restarting things. We're literally just learning as we go and continuing to tweak our process. And we're going to continue making progress and being really productive. And when you start putting all of these things together, you're going to find that you end up building really solid habits about resetting your home throughout the day, about being able to have a solid routine to quickly reset your home in 30 minutes or less. And you feel like you have a really tidy home that's maybe not perfect, but company ready at pretty much any point in time. And you're going to feel like you've got one load of laundry being done a day. And these things are happening throughout the week. It's not overwhelming. You don't have to worry about 7 loads of laundry being done every day. You can just focus on one. And maybe you'll have another load or two by the weekend, but it's not going to be this ginormous mound of laundry where you're doing laundry from sun up on Saturday to sundown on Sunday because you have to do everything that was pushed off throughout the week. Instead, you can have these simple habits and routines that take very, very little time throughout the week. It's less overwhelming. It feels like you have a really good framework to be able to keep moving your day and keep moving throughout the week using this framework. And then you get to the weekend and you're going to feel like there's not much to do. Your home feels tidy, your laundry is caught up, you are set for the weekend. And now, instead of focusing on trying to clean and catch up on laundry on the weekend, you can go to coffee or you can go on a bike ride or you can go on a hike or go do something fun or sleep in or whatever it is you want to spend your weekend doing, you can focus on that and being rested and rejuvenated, and then knowing that you're going to go into the next week feeling like you really enjoyed yourself and you're feeling really good going into the week just to keep going and being consistent with your routines so that this can be a cycle that we want to be repeated. It's not a fatigue cycle, it's an energized cycle because we know that we have built the system in our life that is going to support this long term, and it does not drain us, it actually gives us more time back. And that's what's so important. But we really need to be intentional about where we're putting our time, how we're putting these things into place, and this is going to help you do that. So if you're struggling building that lasting momentum with your home routine, this is a great place to start. So I'll quickly recap those for you. Is number 1, You need to first create your daily plan. And I would suggest using my simple daily 7 home routine. Once again, you can go to episode 5 to learn how to build your own, or you can go to episode 23 to just start by copying mine and using that as a starting point and then testing it out and tweaking it from there. But basically, you are taking 7 of your highest priority tasks that make you feel like your home is clean and tidy. You're going to take 7 of those and you're going to build them into a routine so that you can quickly reset your home in 30 minutes or less every day. And then number 2 is to give yourself reset times and really think through what this means in your life and where it could apply. This is like resetting the kitchen after every meal or snack, resetting the living room after a movie or a game night or a playtime session, resetting the towels or the rugs in the bathroom, resetting the dishwasher each morning or after each meal, even things like that, where you can do a reset. Number 3 is to not overbook yourself with tasks. Focus on only 2 to 3 priority tasks for the week, and then fall back on your habits and your routines to get you through the daily tasks that shouldn't have to be on your regular to do list. And then number 4 is to keep a donation box at all times and make sure you schedule time in your calendar to do those drop offs so you don't forget about it and it's not sitting in your trunk for 6 months. So have a donation box or a designated area in your home so that when you're doing any decluttering or you come across something that you no longer need, don't just put it back because you'll deal with it later. Just take a couple minutes and go put it in the donation box. Maybe even grab a few items that you see on the way there that you can just gather up, throw them in the donation box, and then you don't have to worry about it. And you will very quickly find that your home continues to get decluttered regularly without making a big deal out of it. And then number 5 is to check in with yourself often to see how things are going and be really honest with yourself. It's not failure if something's not working. It just means it's not working. And you need to ask yourself, like, what can we do to change this? And what can we do to make it easier? What can we do to make it work better for our family? What can we do to make it more consistent? Is this actually working for us? Do we need to scrap this routine? Or do we just need to tweak a few things? So it's really important to do that check in because we always want to test and tweak as necessary. And sometimes you might find that it works really well for a really long time. And then all of a sudden you hit a new season of life where something's not working so great anymore. And that's totally normal. Just ask yourself to kind of review and see what's not working anymore. Tweak a few things, see if that works a little bit better, and you'll find that it's quicker to find the gap, the more you do this, and then when you hit a new season of life, it's easier to pivot a little bit and be able to make some changes so that it works really well again, and you can continue on with a really solid routine. So it just takes practice. If you are new to this stuff, it's gonna take some time, but being here and making the effort to start putting these things into place is going to make a huge difference in being able to help you make progress and start moving forward. So I hope that this was really helpful for you. If you need some support or some encouragement, come and join us in our free Facebook community. You can join us at the routineadvantagecommunity.com and request to join. Make sure you do answer the questions when you make the request so that we know you're not a spam account, because we do get a lot of those and we have to turn people away. So I hope that they are not human beings that are trying to join. If you were denied, I apologize. Go and try again and make sure you answer the questions so that we can actually review those and approve so that we can try and get a really great community in there. We already have, I think it's over 400 people in this free community that are just amazing people. And every little bit that we can do to help each other and encourage each other is going to make a big difference because we all struggle with so many things, but being intentional and making these shifts in our life are going to make a big difference. And when we can do it with somebody else, it just makes it a lot more fun. So I will catch you back here on the next episode. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.